Welcome to Hide and Seek TV. It's your boy Hide and Seek, and I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown concerning NFL playoffs currently, just currently. No predictions. I'm about to just break down the whole symbolism and all of this stuff that's going on, and some NBA as well, real quick. So I'm gonna start it off as I usually do all the time with First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. So they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem according to Gentile, aka Greek culture, and removed the marks of circumcision and abandoned the holy covenant. They joined with the Gentiles and sold themselves to do evil. So let's delve deep into this because obviously we know the recent playoff games was what Bengals versus Titans, Niners versus Green Bay, Rams versus Bucks, and then you had Bills versus the Chiefs. So what I want to talk about right quick is obviously it's very important because, like I said before, the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they represent nothing but Masons, nothing but the Masonic fraternities. And I've covered this millions of times in my videos on my NFL. I'm gonna put my link to my playlist of NBA videos that I've done, like 15 chapters and other little side quest videos, I like to call them. And then I have the NFL as well, same thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this down. So like I said before, when you obviously understand the Bengals, I'm gonna break it down in a second. But the whole Eye of the Tiger theme, is just all symbolic of the Messiah type theme on a hunt, on a hunt to fulfilling the kingdom. You know what I mean? The Rams represents Messiah. Remember during the time of Abraham, I'm gonna show it in a second, about how the Messiah is just the ram in the bush, the sacrifice. And then the Buffalo Bill, as it's written, how the Messiah is as the bull in Revelation 4:7. And obviously the Chiefs, represent Messiah becoming the ruler, the king, the chief, the head ruler. And then the Niners represent nothing but the heavenly treasures. I'm gonna break it down in a minute. But first off, I want to talk about the Bengals because remember I was talking about this before about the Detroit Tigers logo when you have the tiger walking through the door, the D. And when you understand how deep that goes, because the delta anyway, the letter D means nothing but door in Hebrew. So hint like the whole theme of the tiger walking through the door. And as it's written, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. So hint the whole theme of coming through the door. You know what I'm saying? That's why last year you had to have that. Remember, I broke down that Tiger Woods car accident that happened. But you know how all that happened right before the year of the Tiger, which is 2022. So you see how deep all that stuff comes together. Like, it's no way around it. Look at that right here, the year of the Tiger. For people who play 2K, obviously familiar with this image. But the whole thing, remember when I was talking about this right here, how deep it goes, because remember when Brady played for the Patriots representing them, the Masons trying to defend their world. They're patriotic to defend their sinful kingdom. And that's why they had to beat the Rams that year, because when you understand that, the whole theme of how in Leviticus 6:6, and as it's written, and he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord a ram without blemish. So you see how the ram was always used for a sacrifice of guilt. That's why the Patriots had to beat the Rams. And the whole thing, how deep that stuff goes. You know what I mean? When that year, what was this, 2019? No, 17 or 19. I think this was 19, right? 17, this Super Bowl happened? No, 19. 19. It was 2019 that the Super Bowl happened. So you see how deep this stuff goes, how all that showed about how the saints, the prayers of the saints to be forgiven for their sins type thing. And that's why the Masons tried to stop it. You know what I mean? How deep this stuff goes, man. It's like that. And when you look at it too, remember I said during the time of Abraham, remember Abraham had the ram in the bush. You know what I'm saying? Remember when he was going to sacrifice Isaac, with the ram in the bush appeared, and the Messiah as the sacrifice. The word he sacrificed, the ram. That's how deep this stuff goes, man. And when you look at it too, remember in 2017, which is so deep, because you remember Brady, he had to beat the Falcons in 2017, and then you remember he lost to the Eagles in 2018. I'm gonna show it in a second. But notice 2017, he beat the Atlanta Falcons because remember, as it's written, Messiah is as a what? A lion of Judah, a royal bull, the son of man, and he's as a flying bird. So the whole thing about how he beat the Falcons, and then the year after that, remember he lost to the Eagles because Messiah is as the flying bird. The first time, that was a comeback. So the Masons trying to say, oh, yeah, we're overtaking them, we coming back. And then they lost to the Eagles the year after that because, the Saints was charging back up, and then it was the constant war again. And then the ram sacrifice came, and then what happened? They wanted to stop it again. So I'm gonna show some deep stuff on how they level these Super Bowls and how much power is in this. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand it, the Philadelphia Eagles, as it's written into the church of Philadelphia, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that had a key of David, he that openeth the door and shutteth, and no man can open it nor shutteth. So remember, I was already talking about that earlier with the tiger coming through the door, the Bengal type thing, the eye of the tiger on the rise. So you see how deep that stuff goes, and there's just no way around it. That's why 2019 they had to have that Super Bowl where the Rams lost because at the guilt of the Saints being renewed and becoming reborn and forgiven. That's why the Masons tried to step up because they already knew the 2020 era was on the rise, and then how everything broke out during that time with the big disease. We've already broke all that down, but this stuff is serious, man. It's just high level masonry, high level witchcraft that's attacking us. And obviously I used to be a diehard Brady fan. You know what I mean? Diehard. Watch the games, all of that. Crazy. Betting, everything. You know what I'm saying? But now I know what's going on, and I know this is a motor against me to prevent me from rising up, and keeping me asleep. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is crazy. And as you see, you had the Green Bay played against the Niners. I'm gonna break that down on why that had to happen because at Green Bay, the Masonic G's. You feel what I'm saying? The Masonic G. That's why the very first Super Bowl ever was Chiefs versus Green Bay. They wanted to stop the Messiah from becoming ruler. That was the first thing to show the war was against the Messiah. The Masonic G's, the Masons versus the Messiah, the Chief. That was the very first Super Bowl. And when you look at it too, like I said, the 49ers represent what? The heavenly treasures because 49er come from what? 1849's gold rush. The 49er, the gold rush. You know what I'm saying? And remember as it's written, how we supposed to store our treasures as it's written, store your treasures up in heaven. You know what I'm saying? So that the thieves don't come and take it away. That's why all the money is becoming digital. I'm gonna break this down in a second. But hence that whole thing, the Masons want to take the treasures away from the saints, because you know how we inherit in the kingdom now. Everything is fulfilling. So you see that right there. You know how Kansas City Chiefs, as it's written in Ezekiel 1:4, that a whirlwind came out of the north, revealing the Messiah. So hence Kansas City is in Tornado Alley. Hence the whole theme of the whirlwind, the Tornado Alley. You know what I mean? That's why Kansas City, the year after the Rams lost to the Patriots, what happened? Kansas City played against the Niners and they won. Remember that showed that the Messiah and his saints inherited. We were inheriting the kingdom in 2020. You feel what I'm saying? Hence, we were storing the treasures in heaven. But that's why the year after that, 2021, came what? The Masons, the Buccaneers. The Patriots is high level, but the Buccaneers are higher form because that's straight skull and bones fraternity. Masons is way higher than just Patriots. You know what I'm saying? That's why Brady had to amp his career up and go to the Buccaneers. Because Tampa Bay don't mean nothing but what? The Bay of Fire, Hellfire. You see how deep that stuff goes. There's no way around none of this stuff, man. So hence, store thy treasures in heaven because the thieves won't take it away. Remember, I said the Niners played against the Chiefs. Chiefs won, inherited the kingdom. And why this happens, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of torment, weeping and wailing. So hence the whole theme of how the Masons this year, that's why Tom Brady had to lose, because the merchants are witnessing the fall of the spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah that we're living in. That's why the Masons is up out of here in this whole bracket. That's why the Green Bay and the Buccaneers had to get up out of there. You see how deep that goes. All symbolic of the saints and the Messiah symbolism, of Messiah coming back in full power. So it's all in our face. That's why you see the Chiefs, how remember that year when they played against the Buccaneers and they went to Tampa Bay, hint the hailfire. And the whole thing of remember Patrick Mahomes had the foot and the head injury. Remember he had the concussion and he had the foot injury. And you remember during the time of Dorothy, remember she tapped her heels and she make it back to Kansas so she can inherit the Emerald City and return back to reality. Hence the kingdom of God thing through the whirlwind, Kansas. Remember they said Kansas was the way to into the kingdom, into Emerald City, the kingdom of God thing. And you see how she tapped her heels. And remember she had the concussion in order to enter into Emerald City. So they was like basically once he came out of the concussion, they injured his foot. So they saying you won't leave us. We want to rule you forever. Give us the treasures. You are our possession. That's how deep this stuff goes. Remember, as it's written in Daniel chapter 8, and his power, remember I broke this down pertaining to Obama a million times about the whole theme of Revelation 13 about the beast rising up out of the sea, the Antichrist theme. As is written, his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. Hence by laws and policies. That's why Biden had to be in the office during the time of all this going down, because it's showing what? That was Obama's right-hand man, his VP. Look at what everything going on with the laws and policies today and the mandates. Everything is fulfilling. Notice the Rams. Remember, I had broke this down before. How Von Miller had to join up with the Rams. Remember when he was on the Broncos, he was ranked 4 wins, 4 losses, hint to 44. Remember, Obama's the 44th president. Was the 44th president. And remember, I said the number 44 represents the Ark of the Covenant to rule the earth, be the law of God thing. So you see how Obama was the 44th president because that represented them wanting to take over the Ark of the Covenant, to be the law of God themselves, rule the world. So you see that whole theme of that, hit the 44, and then you remember Break Your Neck by Busta Rhymes. You see that 44 right there on the license plate. Hint they want to stop the Messiah from being the head ruler. So notice how he went from that, and then he went and woke up as a ram because he went from the white horse to Bronco. Remember, as it's written, Messiah rideth upon the white horse with his saints. And that whole theme of that. So he went from that into a ram because that's showing everything is now being fulfilled. You know what I mean? The saints are being purified. The saints are waking up around the world, and people are being renewed. You know what I mean? The whole great forgiveness, the grace of God is fulfilling. You know what I mean? The time is sealing up. The hole is closing. Notice how he became a ram. So I'm gonna break this down because remember I broke down that about Demarius Thomas, who is the Bronco that passed away. Remember how they said he had a seizure and he died in Roswell, Georgia, my fault. When you understand Roswell, Roswell means what? The horse well. Hence is where what? The horse drinketh. So hence the whole thing how he was a Bronco, the white horse, and he had the seizure. Because remember, during the time of the Messiah, the crucifixion, remember as it's written, and behold, the veil of the temple was torn from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks did rent. So hence the earthquake, hence the seizure thing. And then, remember I said he was a Bronco. What happens as it's written, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful, true, and righteousness. He doeth judge and make war. And his name is called the Word of God. So hence how deep that goes. The seizure, and then the white horse being revealed with the Messiah theme, and then you got what's his name become the ram, because that shows that the Messiah is fulfilling. You see how deep this stuff goes. There's no way around none of this. Let's delve even deeper. So as you see, you got Von Miller. Remember he was on the Broncos, he beat Cam Newton. Let's delve deep. I'm gonna break this down with the Bronco thing. Remember he had remember the oxygen mask. Remember that game? I remember watching this live. Like that game was crazy. Back then that's when I was heavy on this stuff. But Just remember the game was this nonstop defense, straight chaotic defense by Von Miller. You had Wolf. Um, I forgot the corner. I can't think of his name right now. You had the cornerback that was just clamping everything. But remember how all that came together. They were just dominating the Panthers. Because remember, you got the oxygen mask on, and as it's written, remember during the time of Messiah, during the crucifixion, but one of the soldiers with a spear stabbed him through his ribs. And the whole theme of the Messiah couldn't breathe when the spear entered the lung. And the I can't breathe George Floyd thing 2020. That's why they had to do that same year that the Niners, lost to the Chiefs because Messiah is strengthening up with the treasures of heaven. And I can't breathe. Therefore, what? The Masons could take over. They could dominate. That's the whole thing. The I can't breathe. That's why they trying to say, yeah, take the mask off. Take off the mask. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole idea of everything going on right now, is to finally remove away the mask. It's that deep. So as you can see, he was just dominating Cam Newton. Remember that year. They were dominating. So you see how that goes, because the Panther obviously is what? Is nothing but the leopard. You know what I'm saying? When you understand Revelation 13, which is all nothing but Obama. Revelation 13, as it's written, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, as it's written, Israel is as the sands of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his head horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So hence the whole theme of what? Bringing forth great destruction against the holy people with laws and policies, politically. But all come together how all that was showing then, you know? It's that deep, y'all. That's why after this Super Bowl, you had to have the Seahawks, all of them teams was losing to like Brady. Remember that because Messiah is just the flying bird. Notice he beat the Seahawks because hence the Messiah was rising up high. Remember, as it's written, remember I just read it in Revelation 19 that he that sitteth upon the white horse is true in righteousness and judge and make war. So hence the whole thing being sitting up high. That's why Von Miller had to have a mask on, because during the crucifixion, when he was mounted up high upon the cross theme, the tree cross theme, and the whole theme of I can't breathe. So if he's mounted up high and able to breathe, he's able to rule. You know what I mean? The king of the hill. And his name is called the Word of God. So that's why they like, yeah, we got to bring him down. You feel what I'm saying? Bring him down. Bring him back down to reality. That's why you see the Patriots, which is the Masons defending the world, had to beat the Falcons. Then they lost to the Eagles, and then they beat the Rams. So you see how deep that goes. And then the Saints inherit the kingdom through the Niners and Chiefs team. And then what happened? We get hit by the Masons bringing the Mark team with Buccaneers versus Chiefs. Is that real, man? Listen to this right here. I was watching the shop, doing some research. Listen to how Chadwick Boseman. Notice how he speaks. Listen to this.
3rd and 15, man. Yeah, tell us about that play.
Yeah, so I think
it looked like a movie. It looked scripted, like, because it's scripted, like movie. It looked scripted, like, because
You hear he said it looked like a movie. It looked scripted. Remember, I just told you all of this stuff is all Greek culture, Greek themes to blaspheme the Holy Covenant.
It's the point in the movie where the team comes back and the underdog, takes over. It's that it was a movie moment.
Yeah.
You see that? Listen to this.
I know it's different because we have somebody telling us to play it.
And the whole thing, obviously, modern, stuff obviously advanced from the old days. Everything modernized. So obviously they got people telling them the plays in their ear. Come on, man. So obviously you don't mean to tell me they don't know what's going to happen.
I know it's different because we have somebody telling us to play it.
One more time.
About that play.
Yeah, so I think
it looked like a movie. It looked scripted.
Come on, listen to this guy. This dude from Detroit, my city, Dwight Smith. Hear what he has to say.
I mean, y'all know all the X's and O's, man. I'm just sitting at home watching. I don't like to get into that because I don't believe the game is really decided on the field. So, I don't get into all the X's and O's and talking, man. Like I said, I played in the game. I set a Super Bowl record, and we knew every play they was running before the game started. So, hey, who am I to say?
Listen to this, brother. Listen to this man one more time.
Y'all know all the X's and O's, man. I'm just sitting at home watching. I don't like to get into that because I don't believe the game is really decided on the field. So, I don't get into all the X's and O's and talking, man. Like I said, I played in the game. I set a Super Bowl record, and we knew every play they was running before the game started. So, hey, who am I to say?
Listen to this one more time. You hear that? Listen to this one more time. He said we knew the plays. So obviously you already know they going, it's obviously still, people still have brains. So it's like stuff you're going to remember so much. You know what I mean? Play by play. But this is why they have to talk to them through their ear. Listen to this.
I know it's different because we have somebody telling us to play in our ear.
Come on, man. We got to wake up. That's why Matthew Stafford is deep, because remember how he beat Tampa Bay. They just beat Tampa Bay. Notice how he's from Tampa Bay, and they beat Tampa, Florida. And then how he's a Ram now, which remember he was just on the Lions, the Detroit Lions, hit the Lion of Judah thing. You feel how deep that goes, and he's 33 right now. So you remember Antonio Brown is 33. Remember I broke that down before about how the Buccaneers lost because remember Antonio Brown used to be the Steeler. And remember when I said that the Saints are they're strong as steel, iron, iron sharpens iron. Hint the Steeler. So hint the whole thing of why Antonio Brown, that means the Saints are no longer under the Buccaneers rulership. Remember I already said that that's why they had to lose Antonio Brown this year during the game against the Jets at that, because remember the Messiah is caught up into the throne of God. Remember I said he's as the flying bird thing. So that's why Antonio Brown, he had to leave the team and all of that. Remember Antonio Brown helped them beat Chiefs. So that was when the Chiefs were under the possession of Masons. But you see the Messiah and we're breaking away from their wizardry. That's why they lost him, and then look what happened this year. Come on, man. It's all in our face. You know what I'm saying? It's all in our face. Hint to 33, the ascension. That's why everybody look at Curry. Stephen Curry right now. Remember I broke him down? I have a whole video on him, complete video. But hint the whole thing about how he's 33. Look how he levitated out of nowhere. Even though he always played like that, but I'm just saying the whole thing with him levitating him to the highest level. That's why he had to break the 3-point record at 33 years old. Hint the ascension. Look at this right here. As it's written, in that day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Yahushua, a.k.a. Christ. So you see how the top of the pyramid is measured at 76 degrees. I broke this down all the time. So I'm going to talk about it right quick. Let's talk about it. Notice right here, during the game, they make sure they show that. You see the 76. As a matter of fact, let me show you something else right quick. Let me show y'all this. This stuff deep. Notice on the cake you got 76, and then notice this. Here, see this.
Over 50, which is great, but it's...
She bring the pig, because remember, 1976 was the swine flu. The 76 theme, remember I broke this down pertaining to the Messiah about 1976 before. And you see how they show 76, then they show the swine. And remember during the time of the Messiah, remember when he was showing his coming, what did he do? He cast down the pigs. Remember that. So notice how they show all of that perfectly. Let's get even deeper. I want to take it further right quick. Remember in Matthew 26, remember I said 76 represents the Messiah and rulership, because 7 is the number of the spirit, 6 is the number of flesh. Hence why they like to reverse it and have this flesh and sin above the spirit of God. So look at Matthew 26:67 in the Sanhedrin is when they beat the Messiah up. Remember they was punching him with their fists and slapping him, because he declared himself as the Son of God. So notice every Hail Mary play that Aaron Rodgers ever had. Notice you got 67 right there and you got 44. Remember I said 44, the Ark of the Covenant? Remember I said the Masonic G's, the Masons? Notice you got 76 right there while he doing the Hail Mary. Notice when he threw the Hail Mary and beat Detroit, remember how he got 67 right there in the mix? Notice when he's getting ready to start a Hail Mary play, notice the score is 6-7. Notice when Michael Vick was on the Eagles, you had 76. So it's like it's never no way around this right here, y'all. You know, I always show it every video, but it's all in our face. You feel me? So you see that 76. And LeBron, when he beat the Nets, notice what you got. He scored 33 points from the rest of the ascension. He had 7 rebounds and 6 assists. The 76 with 33. No way around this. Hint why the All-Star game, Kevin Durant wears number 7 and LeBron wears 6, hit 76. And why they the captains, because they already showing in the year of the Tiger, 76 is the captain. Come on, man. No way around none of this. The Messiah is levitating. The Saints are waking up. Hint the Nets and the Lakers. Hint the lakes, the sea, and then the Nets. Hint the net, because it is written, again, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind. So hint all the people who are seeking the Most High. Hint the whole theme of the net cast into the sea. Hint nets and the lakes. 76. Notice Russell Westbrook. He was the first player to get the most points in the half for a Lakers since Kobe's last game in 2016, 2015. So notice this right here. Remember Kobe, he did it against Charlotte too. And obviously Kobe was, drafted by Charlotte. I remember I already broke that down before about the Charlotte Hornet. A while back, remember how the Hornets, how the Most High during the time of the Exodus, remember he sent the Hornets out to protect Israel, to clear the land for Israel. And remember, and I was already breaking it down about Charles. Charlotte is the female way of saying Charles. And when you understand the name Charles, and Charles, what is short for Charles? Chuck. I remember on Supernatural, Chuck was God. And he was from Kansas. Remember, I've been breaking Kansas down with the whirlwind all video. And you know how a chuck is used to raise up stones. Hint Messiah is the rock. The chuck is the pulley system used to raise up stones. So hint Messiah is the rock that we must uplift. Hint the 76. So it's to be, risen up to be the head ruler. So it's like, it's no way around none of this. You know what I'm saying? Remember I said they want to break the neck when we raise him up to be our head, our chief. So it's all in our face, you know what I'm saying? It's just so repetitive. It's all in our face. That's why Jordan, the bull, had to be over Charlotte Hornets, because Messiah is as the royal bull. Notice how they got Kobe with Gigi, with their statue where they allegedly fell down. Hint the whole theme of that. Hint, as it's written, how we rise up out of the dust, we rise up out of the dead. So it's basically saying how the Messiah risen up from the dead, how the saints risen up from the dead, the daughter of Zion. You see how deep that goes, how Kobe with Gigi. All in our face. Kobe was in what? Kobe was in a 76B helicopter. Get out of here. Let's look at this right quick. Let me show y'all this before I end this video, man. Watch this play. I'm just on muted. But watch this play. Look at this. Look at this right here. You see how deep that goes? Notice the same. Okay, they both attacked the basket. See how he attacked the basket. Notice Westbrook was doing the exact same thing. Same scenario. Game is so scripted, man. The same thing, man. Against Charlotte. Kobe's last game against Charlotte. And notice what do you see? Right here. You see 7-7-6. Right while Kobe about to get the ball. And you got Williams right there in the corner. Because remember in Exodus 3:14, the Most High says what? His name is I am that I am. Hint the will of I am, will of God. So you see that, and the score was what? Lakers had 44 with 7-7-6 lined up. It's too perfect every time. But I'm going to end that right here, man. Thank you for watching Hide-and-Seek TV. Just another little video for y'all. You know, we got to have our daily understanding, daily research. So stay tuned. Much more is coming, man. Peace.